Alright, so we're going back to classifying triangles a little bit, but we're going to use the Pythagorean Theorem to do that. And your learning target is I can use Pythagorean Theorem to tell if a triangle is an acute, right, or obtuse triangle. So we have the Pythagorean inequalities theorem, and what that theorem says is that we can use this theorem in order to classify a triangle as acute, obtuse, or right. Given that we have a triangle, some triangle ABC, C is the length of the longest side, then we have if a squared plus b squared equals c squared, then the triangle is a right triangle. If a squared plus b squared is less than c squared, then we have an obtuse triangle. And finally, if a squared plus b squared is greater than c squared, then we have an acute triangle. So our key concept here, in order to classify triangles using the Pythagorean theorem, first thing we need to do is substitute. We need to substitute the longest side of whatever we have for C and the other two sides, those other two legs of the triangle, for A and B. Secondly, simplify both sides and then compare and classify the triangle using the Pythagorean inequalities theorem. In example 1 here, we're supposed to tell if the triangle shown is acute, obtuse, or a right triangle. And we see that this is our angle in question. That's going to be maybe the right angle. So this is our longest side, which means that we have a squared, which we said was 11, plus b squared, which we're going to call 5. We want to know, is that less than, greater than, or equal to the square root of 170 squared? Okay, so if we go ahead and solve this, 11 squared is 121 plus 5 squared, which is 25. We want to know, is that bigger than the square root of 170 squared is actually just 170. 121 plus 125 is 146, and we can see that is less than 170. Okay, so now that we know that this is 170, we go back up to our list up here, and it says that if we have a squared plus b squared less than c squared, then we have an obtuse triangle, which means that this shape is not a right triangle, it is an obtuse triangle. So your answer is obtuse. Alright, same type of thing here, except this time we have a couple of radicals. We're supposed to tell again if this is an acute, obtuse, or right triangle. We can see the longest side is going to be this bottom one, the square root of 197. And so let's go ahead and we're going to take a squared, which is a we're going to call is 2 times the square root of 19. We're going to square that. Add it to 11 squared. We want to know, is that less than, greater than, or equal to the square root of 197 squared. Alright, so let's go ahead and solve this. 2 times the square root of 19 squared. I'm not exactly sure what that is, so let's go use our friend here. We've got 2 times the square root of 19, and then we're squaring that. We find that that is 76. So 76 plus 11 squared is 121. We want to know, is that greater than 197? Greater than, less than, or equal to 197. So if we add these together, 6 plus the 1 is 7. 7 plus the 2 is 9, and we have the 1 left over. And we see that is exactly equal to 197 on the other side, which means then that this is a right triangle. Right triangle. Alright, last example, we need to state if the 3 side lengths form an acute, obtuse, or right triangle again, except this time we're not given a picture, we're just given three terms. So we have 9 meters, 13 meters, and the square root of 113 meters. And so we need to remember, use the longest side, which is going to be, if we actually go through and check this, because we don't know exactly what the square root of 113 is, but we do know that 100, or the square root of 100 is 10. and the square root of 121 is 11, which means that the square root of 113 has to be the second largest side. So if we plug this in, a squared, a would be 9 squared, plus the square root of 113 squared. We want to know, is that less than, greater than, or equal to 13 squared? Okay, now it's just solving. 9 squared is 81, plus the square root of 113 squared is just 113. And is that less than or greater than or equal to 13 squared? And 13 squared is 169. All right, let's add these together. 1 plus the 3 is 4. 8 plus 1 is 9, and we have our 1 extra 9. We see that is greater than 169. Remember, let's go back to what we said. If we have a squared plus b squared as greater than c squared, that's this last one right here, we have an acute triangle. Okay, so this is going to end up being an acute triangle. All right, that's it. Hope you enjoyed.